Hey guys, how's it going? Matt here. I've been in China now for a few days and I'm staying in our Chinese apartment that we're renting while Eva goes to school down the street. And I wanted to share with you the price of this place and some of the things that you get out of a mid-priced Chinese apartment that you don't really get in America. I've been living in America now for a few years, and so a few of the stark differences kind of just are very blatant and surprising, and I thought I'd share it with you. So this apartment has a kitchen, balcony, a nice balcony outside, 3 bedrooms, 1 master and 2 spare bedrooms, and it has 2 bathrooms. Both bathrooms are like have a shower and a toilet, so they're full baths. One of the cool things about this apartment in particular is how when all the doors are closed, it looks sort of small, but all of the bedrooms sort of have hidden doors. Like, so here's a spare bedroom here. You just push this wall and suddenly you're in the spare bedroom. And then you close it and you can kind of disappear. If no one knew that this was a 3-bedroom, they wouldn't even know that there was a room behind here, which is pretty cool. The master bedroom door is sort of similar. It seamlessly kind of flows into the cabinetry here, but when you push it, you can enter the master suite, which is pretty cool. A lot of the stuff here is built with like sophisticated hardware. You're never going to find your typical light switches that you might see in the West, like the little light switch that sticks out and you got to flip it up and down. Here, everything's kind of more of the modern style. China loves accent lights. I love that China loves accent lights. You have like the hidden vaulted ceiling accent lights that are all through the ceiling of the main den area. You don't have it in the spare room, but you do have it in the master bedroom too. They love to have that hidden glow lighting from inside. And the other thing that they really like is like putting lighting in places where you really would like to have it. For example, when you open the cabinets, you have that strip light at the top that turns on, and then when you close it, it turns off. So this is the closet in the main bedroom. And everything has a light that's like sort of intelligent to give you the light when you need it, like, and not when you don't need it. Same thing on the outside here. So this cabinet here, when you open it, the light turns on. And when you close it, the light turns off. I do like that. If you've seen my van in the States, you've seen that I've taken a lot of Chinese apartment aesthetics and moved it into the van, one of those being a lot of like track lighting and whatnot. This is all my daughter's homework and whatnot. She's studying her Chinese characters, but all of the cabinetry here is quite stylish too. The exterior of all of these cabinets is like a faux leather that it covers all the front and the back of these doors. And if you didn't have all of Eva's Chinese homework, you would see that it's quite subtle. You wouldn't even know that these are really doors until you open them up. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't think they make apartments anymore with standard like knobs that you would recognize in the States, like the round turnstile. There's either that style or something unique like this. And all of these doors operate on finger. So you can unlock all doors using your finger. On top of that, the entire apartment that we're staying at, we're on the 21st floor, but the entire complex, from the parking area, the doors that enter the building, the way that if you were to walk in from the outside, the entry gate, everything is operated on your face. So you scan your face when you move in, and then you can enter and exit, no problem. Nobody without your face is gonna get in, which is cool. So privacy and security is pretty top notch. That's very, very common. All of these things I'm pretty much telling you are quite common for Chinese apartments, but hang on till the end and I'll tell you the price of this apartment. I'm very curious. As I'm making this video, why don't you in the comment section below put in what you think this apartment would cost, and then we'll see how close you are at the end. In China, they love marble. I mean, marble-clad walls, marble-clad ceilings, marble-clad furniture, and marble floors. And you might know like small marble tiles that might be like a foot by a foot, but these ones are like 1 meter by 1 meter. And you'll see a lot of these sort of extra large marble tiles that make up the floor of apartments and houses and all sorts of things. Although you're not really going to see too many houses in the places that are on the coast of China. If you want a house that you might traditionally think of as an American stick-built house, those are very uncommon. Most houses that you might have a single family in China are probably made with concrete. So the walls are actually concrete. These floors are concrete. We're on the 23rd floor of an apartment building. Inside the concrete floor of this apartment, there's a heated flooring system, which is now more and more common. I've lived in China for almost 20 years and on and off. They've certainly come a huge way from the construction processes when I moved here, and the construction processes now. They can throw these apartments up that in America, I think you'd probably consider this a pretty luxury apartment. The cost that we're paying in this area, it's pretty much a middle to high middle class apartment that somebody would afford and live in China. The Chinese like to separate off their kitchen from the rest of the house, but oftentimes it's not like a door. It's not like your kitchen is separate from your house, but it's also not like there's an island that separates the kitchen from the rest of the house. Like, for example, my place in the United States, there's an island that sort of separates the dining and living area from the kitchen. But in China, because they use so much greasy food practices, like making food is sort of messy and there's a lot of oil flinging around, they'll oftentimes separate the kitchen via these like sliding glass walls. And so you slide open this glass wall and you have access to the kitchen. And the kitchen itself, although small, is actually pretty cool. We have a few different things. Chinese have an induction cooktop or a gas like this. Underneath the cooktop, you might normally expect to have an oven, but in China, they don't have too many household ovens. Instead, you'll have a drying rack where you can put all your dishes and stuff. After you wash them, you take them and you move them here. More and more in China, you'll have like small dishwashers. So we have this dishwasher here, which you wash your dishes. When you're finished, you put them underneath the stove. You have a little bit of countertop area here. I'm washing one of my daughter's clothes right now. That's why there's fabric softener here. An ice maker and the coffee maker, which is a must. Every Chinese house has some sort of a boiler for tea or hot water, a wen shui they call it, warm water to drink, and a rice maker, and then a steamer for eggs or steamed vegetables or whatever. So in China, you'll find that there'll be like a lot of smaller refrigerators. In America, we're used to having the big double door refrigerator that's like this amazing monstrosity. But here in China, they don't only just have a tall, skinny one with regular fridge and then like a meat storage and then a freezer down below. Basically, you don't need to go to Costco and buy like 2 weeks worth of food to fill your fridge because first, it's too expensive to buy it in small quantities, but two, it's full of preservatives and it's going to last forever, so you have it here. As a matter of fact, we boiled some eggs a couple of days ago and they were already bad in like 3 days. So everything around here is sort of free range and you use it and you eat it and then you buy it some more. The groceries here in China are so inexpensive and so easy to get that you can get a delivery to the front door of any groceries that you might need for the next 24 or 48 hours. And then if you need more, you just buy it then. And it's quite inexpensive, so it's not like you're worried about breaking the bank, forced to buy like in bulk. So that's why you don't need the big refrigerator, because you're not going to be filling it full of stuff that you're gonna use for the next 2 months. That's not to say that there are people here that don't have a very big refrigerator. There are certainly some more wealthy people that want a big refrigerator. In our last apartment, which was about this size in China, we bought an extra big refrigerator because my big American self wanted to have a little bit of extra space, But it was certainly not necessary. Typically, you're going to find the actual furniture of your Chinese apartment is going to be a lot more sophisticated and stylish than what you might get at, like, say, in America, Bob Furniture or Art Van Furniture or something like that. Things have a lot more angles to them. Things have a lot more stitching involved. They might be a little harder. For example, this leather couch that I'm sitting on is beautiful, and I think it's faux leather, but it's really, really good quality faux leather. But the problem is it's kind of hard. Nothing here is like the soft comfort of America. That goes for beds too. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But the couches here tend to look really nice and have a really stylish aesthetic, but they're probably a little bit harder than you're used to. Chinese will not complain about this because that's why they're this way. They're designed for the people of China. Just like you might find Coca-Cola tastes different here in China because it's designed to satisfy the tastes of Chinese, because Americans like stuff that's quite sugary and sweet, and Chinese are not really interested in that palate. So Coca-Cola has designed their Coca-Cola based on the Chinese taste, their customers' taste in that country. Same thing with furniture. You find that they have a design that's like a little bit harder. Maybe the base area is a little bit wider, but that's what the Chinese really like. They're kind of changing though. Things have changed with regards to their taste in the sweets and with their desire for softer things like fluffier beds and whatnot. But you still certainly see the furniture aspect of old China in a lot of things. You know, if you were to go to like a courtyard house in Shanghai in the 1800s, you know, everything would be made out of wood. You know, it was wooden chairs and wooden. I'm not talking about nice, smooth, like curved wood chairs, too flat. And people used to sleep on bamboo mats, and people, you know, so that cultural end of things still isn't completely gone from the zeitgeist. Everybody has a TV in their house. I don't know how common it is for people to like be watching so much TV. I think more people are on their phones and whatnot in China, but there's always sort of a slim TV somewhere in the house. Here we have a nice, like, accented wall piece that has a marble texture on it. And it's the backdrop of the TV wall, which is pretty cool. You'll have a lot of these inlaid shelves for knickknacks and whatnot. My daughter likes dinosaurs, so those are there. There's a big pet culture here in China. As a matter of fact, we have leopard geckos. Hey, are you lemonade or are you strawberry? What's going on? Pet culture in China is something that has really, really exploded. A lot of people have pet dogs and cats, but things like ferrets. A friend of mine has a sugar glider. They have Maine Coons and like the really like fancy cats and dogs and whatnot, but lizards as well are super popular. Okay, so let's take a look at the spare bedrooms. So this is the second bedroom. Here you can see all the other apartment buildings. But we'll see more of that when we go on the balcony. The bed is, you know, somewhat simple, stylish. Like I said, things are pretty hard here. So this mattress is not what you would think of as like an American mattress. There's no box spring underneath. It's basically just a soft pad, but it's quite hard. It's not even that soft. It's just sort of a hard, thin mattress. You have the closet here. And like I said, this is the second bedroom, so there's not as much thought put into the lighting and whatnot. It's just kind of simple, but enough space for you. And then every room has their own like air conditioner controls, and like I said, the light switches are a little bit more fancy. The second bedroom, or you would say this one would be the third bedroom, is next to the second bathroom. So here's the bathroom. We've got a nice stand-up shower with a ton of room. You will find that most of the toilets in China are automatic and they have like a bidet. Most toilets, if they're not like an older house, have this sort of a toilet system. There's heated, you have the bidet and the sprayer. It's quite nice. Outside is the common sink area where got a couple of drawers underneath, and hello, this here, and then the interior. All right, so our third bedroom here is just storage, but it's pretty much basic. This would probably be more considered a office. And then the master bedroom here, one of the cool things about it is it has a hidden shower. So this is the bathroom for the master. It's not too common to have like, say, a bathtub, you know, to soak in or whatnot. Some houses have a jacuzzi, but most of the space is just a small, you know, walk-in shower that you go in. The sprayers are pretty sophisticated and nice, but for the most part, you're going to get a nice toilet with a bidet and a heated seat and everything. And then you're going to have a heated rack for putting your towel to warm your towel and dry it. And that'll be about it. And then you have the master bed, which I think this is like a king bed. And then you've got the closet areas like I showed you before. and then a short little indentation where you can sit, and it's sort of like a interior balcony, you might say. One of the features in China that I found is in a lot of these houses, basically all houses in China, that I never see in the States. And you might see it, but I never see it, is the way that they conceal drapery. If you noticed in any of these bedrooms, there is an indentation, like a niche, like a channel that sits up in the ceiling, up, and it's hidden from view when you're looking at it from this way. But when you're looking at it from under, you can see that the drapes are actually mounted into the ceiling. So there's a track in the ceiling that is screwed to the ceiling, and then the drapes slide along that track. You never really see the track unless you're looking like vertically directly up, because as soon as you walk away, it looks like the drapes are coming directly out of the ceiling through like this nice shaded channel. And it's like a really beautiful way to do it, to be honest. I was trying to do it in the States and figure out how to support my drapes for the house from the ceiling, but the problem is we don't have the hidden channel, so they would have to be mounted directly from the ceiling. You'd end up seeing this basically this track, and it could still work, but it just wouldn't look as clean as it does here in China. The way that they do the drapes and that wall hangings that cover the windows and some of the openings to the outside are really sophisticated and cool. But let's go take a look at the balcony and wrap this thing up. So here's a balcony. We have a dryer, which is not so common, but Annie bought one because she likes to have a dryer. Here's all the apartment buildings. So this is one, there's a couple next to it, and then these are all part of our complex along with this building here. And then if you look down, you can see this is our park area, and it actually winds around and through the other apartment buildings. But it's really nice. The sakura trees, which looks like they're pretty much almost gone, but the sakura trees were in full bloom. And yeah, this is our community. The track there, I just ran it yesterday, is 500 meters. So 2 loops around and you got a kilometer. So you could just continually run around and around. And then there's the communal gym is down there. That's our rent is included the gym, which has some really nice machines and free weights. Out through those mountains is an area called Dongshan Lake, which is a beautiful lake system. And then this area here, it has all these like rivers that are winding through. And although they're farmland now, they're sort of being converted into parks. If you can see over there, there's a yellow bridge with a yellow tennis court and whatnot. And that's part of the new area where there'll be parks set up, and you'll be able to run along the river all the way down to downtown. That building there, that spire, is the tallest building in Ningbo. It might be actually the tallest building in Zhejiang province now, but I'm not sure about that. Don't quote me on that, but I think it is. Anyways, we have the balcony here, and I have the grill from the old house, and then I've been doing laundry today. So what do you think? What do you think a house like this on the 23rd floor of a pretty nice apartment would cost here in China? And what do you think it would cost if you were to rent this apartment in America? I'm very curious. So if you were to rent this apartment in the States, 3-bedroom. Oh, I didn't even mention all the furniture and the tables and everything, fully furnished. So that was included with the rent. And they rented to us for 5 months, which was less than the standard 6 months, and even more less than the bargain that you might get if you reserved it for more than a year or 2 years. So we reserved it almost month by month, fully furnished, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. What do you think? What do you think you'd pay? I'll count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 6,000 RMB. That is $838 a month for a 5-month rental in a fully furnished 3-bedroom, 2-bath, marbled apartment on the 23rd floor, fully secured with a parking spot down below. We actually have a parking space underneath the building that we have access to. Our elevator goes directly to it. I think that's a great deal, but I'd be curious to think what you think. Anyways, I just thought that was kind of a cool thing to show you. A few of you guys were asking me about comparisons for pricing and whatnot, and how much cost of living is here, and it is quite different than what I had been living in the States. In the States, it's almost like you break the bank just going for groceries, let alone living, and then the cost of this and the cost of that and the cost of this. This is a huge, beautiful, sophisticated apartment for a relatively inexpensive monthly fee, and you get a decent job teaching or whatever, and you could cover that pretty easily and have like a really nice place to live. Anyways, from China, we'll talk to you later. Catch you in the next one. Bye.